Okay, hi there and welcome in my next video. This video is somehow like requested because I will be answering some question someone asked me on our C# programming and XNA programming page, and I think that's a quite important question and it's quite important to answer it as well. So today I will be talking about the collisions. Um, the original question was somehow like whether the collision method I use is promising, and that guy said that he was using a per pixel collision and using a spreadsheet. I don't. He didn't send me a source code, so I don't know really exactly what he did. But I will talk about the collisions, and I will try to explain that. I will explain you the way I'm doing collisions now, and the ways I tried in past to do collisions, because there are several ways how to do that, and I'll explain you why I'm using this particular way and why the others are not really good. Well, in my opinion. So for this purpose, I've got here two pictures. I will open up a Photoshop to show you the pictures. So first picture I've got here is a Sub-Zero here. You see that when I put it here, you see there is a lot of space around. You see? That's a part of the image, but those are transparent pixels all around here. So if we want to do a collision, we can't really use the entire rectangle of the texture unless we really have a texture that would be cut, for example, like this. Then it would be pretty cool. But that's quite impossible because when the character is kicking, then the texture would be the width would be bigger and everything would mess up. So that's pretty much why it's done like this. The sprites are way more bigger than they really have to be. So I can't use the rectangle of the texture. To give you an idea what I mean, I would use a X like a location of player, Y like a location of player, width like a width of the texture, and height like a height of the texture. Basically, that would result in really doing the collision when the pictures will not be even close to each other, because those parts will really collide. The texture is much bigger. Hopefully you understand that. So the deal pretty much is to create our own rectangle. Well, now I will talk about using spreadsheets. Of course, using spreadsheets is maybe a good idea. I did use spreadsheets in my previous Mortal Kombat game. I tried to do it 2 times. This is the second time. In past I didn't have a lot of experience, so I didn't manage to do it. And that time I've been using spreadsheets. Well, now I will share with you my opinion. But my opinion is that using spreadsheets is not good, because you will be possibly making the spreadsheets in your own, and you will have to go to Photoshop, take that and really measure the width and put it next to it, the next picture. I will do that to demonstrate. I just have to find my toolbox of the Photoshop. Come on. Nice. So let's say I will make something like a try for making a spreadsheet. So for this purpose, I will have to realize where this texture ends here. So I create a new layer, if I would be able. I'm not able. Nice. What the fuck? Why is this locked? I can't unlock it. Don't get it really. So I should get to RGB. I guess. Wow, god damn it. Well, this is just yeah, the texture is done. Oh god damn it. It's a indexed here, so I'm not able to do. Oh, I will not bother myself with it yet, but you will have to really measure to make sure that the width and the height is pretty much same in each image, each sprite on the sheet. That will result in making really big texture. I will hopefully show you the spreadsheet from the previous Model Combat. Mm, should be here. So for example, the Dizzy, no, I did it. I had a spreadsheet, I'm sure I had it somewhere. You see, Dizzy all frames. So this was my spreadsheet, and this was pretty much taking the pictures and putting them next to each other in Photoshop. And you really have to have the width same, because if you, for example, the second picture would have width smaller by 1 pixel, it would then screw up, because the whole frame will move by 1 pixel and the others as well, and the animation will not be really smooth. And basically, why do you think that well, basically the Mortal Kombat game, Mortal Kombat 3 or 2, that I have the frames from, was not using the spreadsheets. It had just the pictures. That's why they are extracted from the game like so. I might show you. Well, never mind. But you see, they are just like this, and that's the reason, because they have same width. They are really easy to make in Photoshop maybe. They have same size, and all you have to do is to just draw them and on the same location basically. So do not mess around with spreadsheets, it's not worth it, and you will then make some width mistake, height mistake. It will screw up and you will be really pissed off. Next thing is that you, at least I did, have to cut the picture in the code to really the frames, and for that you have to know the width, the height. Well, I don't know the ways, and that guy did it, but that is really stupid way. I'm sorry, in my opinion. Okay, in my opinion, it is stupid way. I did it as well, but it really gives you you have to make more work, and it's not necessary. Um, well, yes, now about the collision. For this purpose, I will try to delete this. I can't. Oh my god, what the hell is wrong? I can't delete the layer. Why? So let's say that I will make sorry, I will make here a 2 pictures, just really easy pictures, okay? Um, make here rectangle of color, god then, and rectangle 2 with color. So let's say that we want to realize when those 2 rectangles collide. This is quite tricky, and it might be done in several ways. Well, most amazing ways I have seen were that the guy checked the X location, then added to X location the width of the texture, so he had this, and then he took the X location of the second texture and the width of the second texture, and he divided it and tried to do conditions like if this value is bigger or smaller, then it collides. So basically he tried, I think, that if the X of the first one plus the width of the first one is smaller than the X of the second one, then there is no collision. But he might have to check it for the X. If this rectangle would be here, that would be another condition. If it would be above it, another condition. If it would be under it, That's another condition. So that's, it might be done, but it's really stupid way. And why to do that like so? Yeah. Another way, well, that guy that asked me used a per pixel collision. I really don't know what exactly he did, but I assume that he checked for every pixel, and if the pixel had a color and same location, then the collision would be pretty much done. The really good way about this is, without any doubts, that it really resolves the collision exactly. So when those two images collide, even with 1 pixel, it is yeah, the event is raised. You might have the rectangle also rotated, maybe, and it will still work, which is really awesome. But there is still one problem, and that is that, for example, in this texture where you have blank pixels that are just nothing, they are transparent pixels, you will have to check whether the pixel has some color or is transparent. So basically, if the pixel is transparent, then no collision will be there. But getting the pixel color by get pixel color or something like that, there is a method for it that is extremely slow. So if you want to use that, use lock bits instead. But I really do not use this way of collision, so I'm unfortunately unable to write a code from cuffs. And this would be really good, but there is one more thing I would say is not good about this way, and that's that you are pretty much looping through the all the pixels of the picture. And imagine you have well, because this game I'm writing will be really huge, it will have dozens of images, sprites, and it will loop through all of the, even on the spreadsheet, all of the images. It would slow the application a little bit more down. We know that computer is able to do a lot of actions, but we should not really give him bunch of crap to do if it is not necessary, and in this case it is not necessary. Unless you really want nice, precise collision, then maybe. But yeah, really, for example, in my snooker game I did, I had there a lot of threads for analyzing the artificial intelligence work, okay? And those threads did hell lot of work. They checked every single possible shoot, alright? And as the threads just were initialized and they run, the audio in background lagged because yes, the application, the computer can't do really everything you want. So there might be a problem in future with audio if you do such a things. But I don't know, it really depends on situation. So now I'm getting to a way I do the collisions. I delete this and I make a new rectangle here, so gray one again. So my idea is quite simple, I think. It's not my idea, it's from internet, but yes. So the idea is to create a rectangle that will really hold, well, for example, this rectangle. So I will make here a blank project just to write a code in case you would have no idea what I think. So for example, forms application. So for this rectangle it would be rectangle rec equals a new rectangle where you put x, where you put some x, you put there some y, you put there width, and you put there some height. So in this case it would be, for this rectangle, right, the location x, that is this, the location y, that would be Sorry, this is stupid. So location X, which is this, location Y, which is this, which you might change to make the character move, by the way, width, which is the width of the texture, but not every single time, I will get to it, and the height, that is a height of the texture, and you put it there. So now we have in the rectangle this pretty much, and we will do this for the another rectangle as well. So we will have two rectangles. So it's just easy. We will make some rect2. This code will give you an errors because that's just to demonstrate how it would look like. And then you use just if rec dot intersects rec2. So pretty much it does everything for you. It returns you a boolean, so if it intersects, if there is a collision, it returns true. If there is not a collision, it returns false. So in this case it would be false, and it is fast as hell. It immediately returns you the value because you are not working with the image, you are just working with some rectangle that has some x, y with height. You don't mess up with pixels, getting the colors and so on. But it's not really precise, because if I would have to demonstrate, I rotate this texture. If I would have this rectangle and I would like to make a collision, the collision would be like this. So this will be the rectangle of the collision. So if this rectangle would be here, so it would not really collide, you see that? The rectangle collision will return us that it collides because it's within the rectangle here. Unfortunately, you can't rotate the rectangle. Well, I was really surprised when I realized that, but to be honest, I'm pretty much alright with it because I don't really need this. And to be honest, in fight games, no one pretty much cares about some few pixels, because the punches and the kicks are quite fast in my opinion, and user is entertained by the game. He wants to kill the other someone, whatever, so he, in my opinion, doesn't really mind it. For this purpose, I will back to my Mortal Kombat PC, alright? The actual one. I will have to just find the variable I've got here for debugging, because that's also pretty good. What the hell? I will have to find that, sorry. I've got it. So here is draw rectangle just for debugging, that's just for me. Sprite.draw, and you see, if you don't know it yet, I have in my player class rectangle of the player that is updated every single time the X location changes. So here it draws a other textures dot. This is quite interesting as well. I will show you the texture, because you can't draw a just rectangle here. You have to have some texture, and that you can draw that. So Mortal Kombat PC, I find the texture. Give me a second, please. So it's in other, maybe, yeah. So I will zoom it up. This is a picture I have pretty much in all game projects. I name it every single time dot, because it's a dot, and it's a picture. It should be white, alright? I will explain you in future why. It's a dot of width 1 pixel and height 1 pixel, and you can then draw that on a rectangle, and it will pretty much stretch it to the rectangle. And if it would be white, you might be able to tint it with the color here, but because it is black, the tint will not work. The tint works on white places, white pictures, white textures, whatever. So now when I run the game, you will hear an audio because I add it there. I think you hear it because I don't know whether I said it on the hypercam, but it also has an audio. I did it yesterday. So I choose a Sub-Zero fight, and you see that we've got here the rectangles, and that's it. For 2D game, we don't really care about the Y location and height. And you see, I had to define the X to divide some stuff, and you see now it would be a collision because they intersect, but it doesn't really matter because the punch really is quite, yeah, in my opinion. So yeah, that's it. There is some problem, and now the collision is false, but now it would be true. I think it doesn't really matter because yeah, in fighting game it doesn't really matter. So the rectangle collision makes your life easier in my opinion. You can use whatever way you wish to, but the rectangle collision seems to be really the best. And also it was not same in the billiard because there I used a method for the of one guy, because you can't use rectangle collision in billiard because that's a ball, it's not a square. So yeah, I will have later on um, solve the way of getting out of the screen, but yes, this is it. So that's it, and the collision is really important. It really depends on what you want, but to be honest, when you are writing a fight game, maybe in some higher and well, kicks that are for longer range, it would be maybe problem, but it may be defined that you change the rectangle for the particular uh, well, stance, and you change the rectangle to be bigger or smaller. But yes, do not use spreadsheets. Believe me, I know what I'm talking about because I have written dozens of code. I have written a lot of games. Most of them are not finished, really. Yeah, but this will be, I'm sure. Yes, so I hope that I answered pretty much everything.